Good morning, good afternoon, good night. We are going to talk about divine light. We are going to do a collective reading for our Wisdom Wednesday. Please note that all my readings are timeless and general readings, so take what resonates and leave the rest. Cross watchers are always welcome. Just flip the script for better messaging. And if something does hit home for you, please like, share, or comment, maybe even subscribe if you are feeling called to do so, to help the channel grow into a spiritual safe place for us to spread the love and the light in this world of darkness. All right, so let's go ahead and get right into it. I'm going to start off with our Native Heart Oracle. Not really sure why this deck is calling me today, but it's calling me. So we're going to start off with this deck. One shuffle, two. I hope that you guys are doing well. Three, four, four. Autumn. Autumn. 5. I don't know why, but Spirit's telling me to do 6. Like I said, I haven't used this deck in a long time. Alright. This video is sponsored by my cat, Autumn. She is joining us, so if she ends up in the screen somehow, she's just paying you a visit. Oh, there she is. Autumn. Alright. So we are going to do a 4-direction spread. I'll break down what each, section is going to represent, but I'm just going to pull from the top. So the first card is the North card. Actually, let me show you. Universal Love. The North represents decisions, the mind, and awareness. The second card would be the East. This is card number 23. Self-focus. The East represents soul, spirit, guidance, and values. Right off the bat, I'm seeing a lot of pink. So a lot of self-love here. Universal Love was the first card. Then we have self-focus. Okay. So the South is going to be Soul Star Chakra, card number 34. This represents emotions, heart, sensitivity. And then for the fourth card, we have card number 21, Sun God, for the West. Now, the West is going to represent physical action and control. And then I'm going to get a blockage card here. So the last card would be card number 11, Grandmother Moon. Right there in the middle is a blockage card. And then bottom of the deck here, we have card number 40, Sacral Chakra. All right, so with the overall energy being Sacral Chakra, it's talking about creativity. It's also talking about the connection that you have with yourself. I mean, the solar plexus is also self-esteem, but with the Sacral Chakra, it's talking about like kind of your connection, your think about your roots. Like when I think about the Sacral Chakra, it's in your pelvic area, so it's talking about like your desires, your sexuality, your emotions, your creativity, things like that. But I also tie it in with like your connection with the self, because your solar plexus and your sacral always kind of pin off of each other, like ping pong off of each other. But with the sacral, you're talking more about like your emotions. So with the emotions being your overall energy, and then we have a lot of pink here, we're tapping into our connection with the self. All right, so what I love about this first card that popped up here with the Universal Love is how there's this what is it, a lotus flower, and it's surrounded by I don't know what you would call these, but they kind of look like petals, and to me they look like peacock feathers, except for one color, right? So they're kind of in the shape of a peacock color, but they're all one universal pink. Now, when you look at the lotus flower itself, the inside, I don't know if you can see right in the inside, but there's three different, like, it looks like buds or something. And to me, it looks like generations of feminine energies. And then it's surrounded by the lotus. So think of yourself as like unflowering, um, and opening up to who you have always been with the help and guidance of your feminine ancestors. They can be, female ancestors, your grandmother, your mother. That's kind of what I'm getting here, with the universal love. But definitely a lot of self love with the peacock feathers on the outside. It's kind of, for me, representing that you're opening up new possibilities or doors. Maybe each transition or each stage in your life is one, one little, I don't know, again, I don't know what to call these, like petals. We'll just call them petals for lack of better terms. Excuse me. My dog is barking. If you can hear her in the background, I do apologize. She's being awfully rude. But card number 14. All right, so let's move on to the East. So with the East, this is represented with the self-focus, tying back with the universal love. So learning how to focus on yourself, but also focusing on your inner divine love. Okay, I'm kind of getting that as you're learning about yourself, you're connecting back to your ancestors and your roots, because they're the ones that are guiding you into this divine path or divine purpose. This card or this mandala itself, like, I love how in the center it's green and then all of these arrows are pointing toward it as if it's a target, as if, you're reaching some sort of a goal here. And then with the center being this like open light, it's almost like you're opening up your divine light. You're opening your heart center. You're really going inward and doing the work inward, and focusing on your self healing. And maybe you haven't quite fully done the work, but you've definitely had your mind on the need to connect back with your roots, the need to focus on your self healing, and open up your divine guidance here. Then we have with the South, it's talking about your emotions and your heart, how sensitive you are with the soul star chakra. So with this one, I am feeling like on the outside, this is like the shield, okay? This is the shield that you wear protecting your heart. And the inside would be like your divine light, your divine light, how you should be showing up in the world, but unfortunately you're guarded and shielded, and you're not quite showing up as brightly as you want. Okay, with this card, there's a lot of beautiful whites and yellows and grays, but there's more grays than there are of the white and the yellow itself. So to me, it seems like you're dimming yourself or you're protecting yourself. Now, when it comes down to dimming yourself, you have to remember, like, dimming yourself to make other people feel comfortable is making you feel uncomfortable. So what is going to be the most fair to you? Dimming your light to, make others comfortable, or catering to yourself and your needs. All right. I think that's why your ancestors are showing up here with this self-focus, because don't worry about everyone else. Don't worry about what they have to say. Don't worry about what opinions they have, or what what they have to say. I feel like a lot of you guys are so focused on other people's opinions that you're neglecting to create this, okay, not shield, because you definitely have this shield, but you're allowing those opinions of others to define you. And that's not fair, because you are your own being and you need to show up as that authentic being. Don't worry about what other people have to say, or what other people, like what they talk about you, or what they say about you. At the end of the day, you're doing you, and that's all that matters. Stand in your authenticity, stand in your true nature and your true being. And if anybody else has to say anything about it, well, there's always options for transmuting that. And that's a topic for a whole different story. But if you know what I'm talking about, try your hardest to acknowledge the energy and transmute it. There's a lot of different rituals that you can do to help push that energy into a certain direction, but also intention. Intention in itself is the biggest way that you can transmute any energy, good, bad, or anything in between. So I want to move on to our West, which is again the action, or the physical, the control. With Sun God here, this is definitely bringing a lot of action-oriented energy. It seems like we're climbing up that spiritual ladder here with the pyramid. We are learning to protect our energy. We're learning to cultivate burn brighter, and to feed that fire that's within us, and to stop allowing it to be so dimmed and almost put out to make other people feel comfortable. We are meant to lead, and we are meant to take action on our soul purpose. So with the Sun God here, it's definitely giving a lot of action, a lot of control. Control doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. Sometimes we do need to release that control and surrender to the divine, but ultimately there is some sort of control that we have, right? We have control in our emotions and in our actions, and how we perceive things. So focus on the things you can control and not the things you cannot. Just surrender to those things that you cannot control and allow spirit to take the wheel moving forward from there. All right, so I'm going to move on to the next deck here for your better clarification, and I'm going to do the Moonology deck. You know what? Do I want to do this one? Okay, I'm sorry. I am going to switch it up. So originally I do the Blue Moonology, but this deck is calling me the Purple Wings deck. I really don't remember what this is called, but I call it the Purple Wings because to me it looks like a butterfly, like tree of some sort. And this one, I love this deck. This one gives me so much clarity and insight. Also, the illustrations are nice on this one too. All right, so we are just going to clarity for the North. Adventure. Embrace adventure and accept the uncertainties in life. I love this, how she's just jumping across the canyon here and taking a leap of faith. There is a beautiful river in between them, but embrace adventure and accept uncertainties in life. All right, and that's leading with the mind, having more awareness, maybe connecting even with nature as you're opening up to your roots, as you're opening up to your yourself and your divine love. Then we have with the East, potential. Unleash your inner potential and transcend self-limitations. Okay, so this one, potential, is clarifying self-focus. So you have the potential to unlock your divine soul, your divine purpose. It kind of feels like I said, since you're dimming your light, you've been hiding. Okay, you've been kind of in the ground, so we can speak. But now you're starting to sprout as you're focusing on your healing, as you're focusing on your self-love. You're starting to sprout, and then there's the sun behind you, radiating to feed and to provide you that natural energy that you need to grow. We have South, timeless truth. Draw from the wisdom of past experiences to connect with your inner timeless truths. I like this card too. You're in a meditative state. You're learning all about your spiritual gifts, maybe even your past lives. Again, connecting to your roots, and all of these readings that you might come across, whether it's on my page or other people's page, they're all timeless. So whatever messages you start to come across is the message that you need within that time frame. Then we have with the West, change. Dare to change and embrace new possibilities. So again, this is talking about the action. So are you going to dare to, take or make a decision, and are you going to go left, or are you going to go right? Are you going to follow the divine guidance, following the arrows, or are you going to make your own decision and just say, you know what, let's wing it and see where this other path leads me? But ultimately, yes, the choice is going to be yours, but your spirit guides are really nudging you and making an attempt to guide you. It's just your choice if you want to listen to your intuition, or if you want to try to control every aspect of your life. Just know that there's consequences to that. When you take control to the fullest extent, to where you're not listening to your intuition, there comes consequences to that. But we do have the powers of choice, and spirit just wants you to be able to make a choice in your overall growth, and hopefully for the better. This is what's blocking you: safety. Feel protected and stable, grounded in security, no matter what life brings. It just dawned on me that I never really talked about the blockage card before I moved forward to clarifying. So the blockage card for the other deck was Grandmother Moon, and this is talking about cycles. With these moon cycles being here, it's talking about cycles. And then Grandmother Moon, I feel like it's bringing back the your ancestors, and as you're healing, you might be breaking cycles, you might be breaking traumas, or breaking what is the word? Cycles is a good one, but there's another word. Breaking this. Goodness, I just can't quite get the word right, but the cycle ends with me is what I'm hearing. The cycle ends now, kind of thing. But safety, maybe you don't feel protected. It says feel protected and stable, grounded in security, no matter what life brings. So you're being guided from your ancestors. You're being guided by your loved ones, your angels, your soul tribe, those that are in the higher realm, that are helping, guiding you, and pointing you in certain directions. But sometimes you might feel like you're alone, because you're physically in this boat and you're alone, and there's a storm around you, and yes, you can see this lighthouse, but is the lighthouse your ancestors bringing you back to safety, or is it just coincidental? Now, I'm going to tell you that, to me personally, there's no such thing as coincidences. If there are certain signs that come across your way and you're just like, no way is that happening to me. There's no way that I just avoided, for example, like a car accident, right? Maybe you were about to run a red light and the car was paying attention, so you didn't actually hit the car, but that could have been an accident. That's your angel guides protecting you and making sure that you're safe. Maybe there's everything stopping you from leaving the house, and it's delaying you from either going to work on time, or getting in your car early to go get gas, but yet you can't find your keys, and you forgot your purse, and just this, that, and the other is just you coming into play here, and it's affecting your time. But everything happens for a reason, and it might feel like a delay in the moment, but then later on it might make sense as to what happened and why spirit was holding you back just a little bit and stalling you. Because hey, who knows, if you would have left at the time that you wanted to leave, maybe you would have got into a car accident, or maybe you would have ran into somebody that it isn't healthy for you. It could be an ex, or somebody who ciphers your energy and you don't even know it. Okay. From the bottom of the deck here, we have anchor in self. Find your center within, remaining steadfast despite external storms. So a lot of outside factors are affecting your focus on going inward. I think that what's going on is that you're so distracted by everything on the outside that you're not quite able to look in the mirror and really sit with yourself and address the things that need healing, to break chains and break cycles, and to really be the leader in a new beginning for yourself and your bloodline. But ultimately you are safe, and these storms are just outside factors. They really have nothing to do with the internal work. It might be a wake-up call, as a not a metaphor, but as like a symbolism of what's really going on within you. A lot on the outside might be going wrong, but have you looked in the mirror and have you addressed the things that's bringing you anxiety, or that's causing you a bit of a depression or destruction at that? Just start to become more self-aware and really put healing and change in the forefront. Spirit definitely needs you to start looking at yourself and doing the soul work and really focusing on your healing. So I'm going to do a closing out here. I'm not going to lie, I forgot the name of this deck. Let me see if I have the booklet. Oh, Magical Spirit Oracle is this deck here. So I'm going to get a closing message. All right, let's do 2 more shuffles. 2 and 1 more. Oop. Very nice. Thank you, Spirit. All right, so split it. Thank you. Top card. All right. Closing message, card number 12, Spirit of the Tree, Nature, Priestess, Inner Peace. If you're in need of a lesson, there is wisdom in the trees. I love that. What I love about this illustration is it's kind of giving Pocahontas in that scene where she's talking to that mother tree, with the face being here. But it also feels like a reflection, right? So like you're sitting with nature, but you're connecting with the self. You're connecting with your roots. I think it's also getting back to the adventure card here. Something about nature is calling. Maybe not quite water, with safety and anchor and self being very storm-like, but nature, right? Grounding, learning to connect back to your roots and appreciate nature, and to find clarity, and stillness in the trees, in nature itself. I'm also going to show you what the bottom of the deck is. Card number 37, Truth, Honor, Empress, Integrity, that which is true. Kill always, be enough. These illustrations are incredible. But I see here with it's like opening your third eye. You're learning how to seek the truth, not with your physical 3D eyes, but your spiritual eye, with your third eye opening, learning to use your intuition and to allow your spiritual team and ancestors to guide you. All right, so that is what I have for you today on our Wisdom Wednesday. I really hope that you found clarity. If you did, I'd love to hear from you. Go ahead and drop a comment down below. Maybe share this with someone that you love or care about. I just really want this channel to grow for all of us so we can have a safe space. But again, I'm going to close it out with love and light, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.